Hi guys, what are we going to do today? Today we're going to make another journal. We're going to use chipboard and watercolor paper. Let's get started. So for this cute little journal, we're going to use chipboard. The first thing I did is I cut my piece of chipboard, and this is a 5x7. And then you can see this is a 3/4 inch gap for the actual spine. So at 3 1/8 and 3 7/8 is where you're going to score. And it'll be like this. Then I cut another piece of chipboard that's 3/4 inch by 5, and that is going to reinforce our spine. And on this, I also put, where this template shows, my 3 dots, so I know where I'm making my holes. So I just used my paper cutter to cut this chipboard, and then I used my scoreboard, and I put this on my scoreboard and lined it up and scored my lines on this. If you don't have a scoreboard, just get a heavy-duty ruler, mark your lines, and use a stylus or something heavy and just crease into your chipboard. You can just use scissors to cut this also. So the first thing I want to do is I am going to glue this into the center of my book spine. I am going to glue this down, and I am just going to use a Mega Tack, which is just a tacky glue, and you could use whatever you love to use. And make sure I line that up in between my 2 score lines. The reason I'm really reinforcing this center is because we're going to be using elastic with barbs, and the length of them, if you don't reinforce it, it's going to want to buckle your book. And this seemed to work really, really well and kept it nice and sturdy. So while we get this to dry, we'll just start on our inside pages. Since I'm making a watercolor book, I'm going to use watercolor paper. I'm going to have 3 signatures in here. You can see the 3 holes, and each signature will have 5 sheets of watercolor paper. So I will need 15 sheets that are 6 by 4.5, 6 inches long and 4.5 inches up, and it'll fit nicely into this book. And then I'm going to score it in the center at 3 inches. So you do that with all 15 sheets that you have, and I am just going to fold them. A lot of times doing books, I would actually cut this excess off because the thicker it gets, the paper pulls out, but I'm not going to on this. So I have 3 of these signatures, 5 sheets each. This is now dry. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is decorate our book. So I'm just using this gel medium as my glue, and I'm going to use this really fun watercolor paper. You can use any decoupage medium you would like. I'm using a gel medium. I got it on Amazon. It works like a decoupage medium. So if you like to use Mod Podge clear patinas or whatever your favorite decoupage medium is, any of those things would work just fine on this project. Gel medium will actually make your paint and other mediums stay wet longer. So I'm just gluing this front edge down, and carefully I want to fold this so it doesn't rip when it dries. Now, if you have a little plastic bag, I'm not too concerned about the wrinkles in this. And I find if you use a plastic bag, that works really well to help get some of them out. I used to use my fingertips, and my fingertips were so much rougher, it would actually rip the paper. So that's why I use that. Now I'm just going to kind of come in at a tad bit of an angle here and here. So make sure you bend your edges before the paper dries. And then you don't have to worry about it splitting. And it stretches. Okay, I am going to glue these edges in. Let's do the other ends. So I'm going to need a piece to cover the inside. So you could just use any regular type paper or another fun decoupage paper, just whatever you would like, just to cover the inside piece. If I spray this just a bit with water, I found that when I decoupage it down, it's already started to stretch and move a little, so it definitely doesn't seem to wrinkle as much. And I know I'm making a blobby mess, but this dries clear. So I'm going to make sure I have it everywhere I need it. Start with the center, since I have those little lines there. And actually, I'll just seal over this a little bit right now. Fold it up. Make sure I got it down. Okay, we'll let this set and dry for a few minutes. When your book's dry, what we're going to do next is you are going to put your holes in. Right. Holes are right there. You can just measure how far that is. You want it up a little ways. So I'm going to make 3 little holes with this awl. You could use, if you have a super tiny hole punch, you could. But otherwise, they're so close together that it's easier just to use an awl. So I'm just going to make all 3 holes. Start with the center one and just go on the outside edge and then the other outside edge. Just inside that little 3/4 inch piece, but you don't want it so close together that the hole will rip into the other hole. And there we go on that side. About there. Okay. So for this, I'm using these small elastic pieces. They're about 2.5 inches with the little barbs at the end. So what we're going to do, and you're going to see why I brought this down at this point. I'm going to bring this through and bring it through down here. Now, if you have your hole much higher, you may have these hanging off the end. And so that's why I bring them in just a little ways in the inside. Good, so there we go. So now I'm going to take my set of 5 pages, and this elastic really does stretch. And then all I have to do, and I'm just going to like line it up where I want it. And what's nice is if you have one sheet you want to work with, you can just pull it out and put it back in. I'm going to put it right in between the score line and slide it so it's in the center. I think this is a really fun, easy way to make a journal. And there you go. Now you can finish embellishing, adding whatever you would like, stamp your pages. And this was easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project. If you'd like the template for this, make sure to click in the description to get the link for the template. You can add extra embellishing to the outside, to the inside, and also if you stamp all your watercolor paper, you're going to be ready when you're on the go and have to watercolor something right now. The other fun thing about this is you can pull your paper out and add more paper into the signatures. Hope you guys give this a try, but whatever you do, have fun.